Hello everyone, in this video I'll be ranking every set from Star Wars Rebels. This show started in 2014 but got an undeserved bad rap. Disney just bought Lucasfilm and canceled the Clone Wars to seemingly start this project. At the time, it just felt like we were being betrayed. That, combined with the somewhat lacking opening season, led to fans not even really giving the show a chance, including myself. Eventually, people caught on and realized just how good the show was. Unfortunately, LEGO already stopped making sets at that point. Looking back at all these sets, it's so terrible to think about all the other sets that could have been, because the ones we did get were all fantastic. Making this list is quite the challenge because of that. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this list. At the bottom, number 13 is Ezra's speeder bike. This set is a great concept and the builds are wonderful. The problem is they are oversized. This isn't anything new from LEGO. We've seen oversized builds all the time, but these are to the extreme. It's to the point it's distracting. Otherwise, I think this could have been an amazing little set. The figures, luckily, are still pretty good. Ezra, Sabine, and a Stormtrooper is a great combo, especially for $20. Even with the huge builds, though, it's still fine, but just not what it could have been. Next, 12 is Kanan's speeder bike. This is the companion set to the previous, and it's got the same problem as well. The builds are good, but just way too big. This stinks because otherwise I could see a set like this being one of my favorites. I love speeders and little sets like this one with all those extra crates and weaponry. That'd also be super neat to have. There's a ton of playability here between this and the previous set. They're both really good concepts, and I love how easily they work together as good companion sets. But on a list that has so many great sets, something like an oversized build is enough to hold it back. 11th is the Phantom. This set is plenty good, but compare it to the rest of the list and it's a little boring. The only two figures are Ezra and Chopper, which are both good figures and good characters, but they're also fairly common, at least for the time. The helmet they included for Ezra, though, was a neat accessory for him, and that is a nice little touch. The build looks extremely accurate and good, even down to the wings. This is a fine set with nothing wrong with it, but in a list of exceptionally good sets, this one just gets lost in the shuffle. 10th is the Imperial Troop Transport. Despite being a seemingly perfect battle pack, this set falls short in some major ways. The first and most important being the minifigures. 4 Stormtroopers is a phenomenal lineup for a battle pack. It's exactly what you want. The only issue here is their prints. The helmet prints have some stylization to them to try and match the show, but it's way over exaggerated and it leaves a look I'm not that fond of. This is a huge deal breaker in a set that's all about the minifigures. Besides that, the build isn't great either. I like the idea they had going for it, but the execution of this classic vehicle just didn't work. It looks terrible, and while this doesn't quite matter that much for Battle Pack, it's just another notch in the belt, making it one of the less desirable sets from Rebels. The 9th slot is taken by the Wookiee Gunship. This was one of the more experimental sets from the series, and while it's a bit weird, I like the willingness to try something new. I love the tan and brown color scheme it has. It matches the Wookiees perfectly. Some of those stickers even make it look like wood accents. Another thing I love is the fluid shapes and curves in the set. There's a ton of circular features that are more natural and hard to make in LEGO. Even though it's got a bunch of cool things about the build and even a good figure lineup, I just can't find myself really putting this set any higher. As much as I love the Wookiee Gunship for being something new and different, that's also why I kind of got to put it lower. It's harder to put these niche sets above some of the others when they appeal to a lot more people. So while I hate to put it this low, unfortunately I just feel like this is where it has to land. Next at 8 is the Imperial Salt Carrier. The Gazanti is another ship that wasn't really a natural pick for LEGO Star Wars, but Rebels was a series that brought it into some more common knowledge for Star Wars fans, and luckily LEGO locked onto that and made a playset of it. The carrier is a really nice build with a ton of smooth curves and slopes. The wings are a little stud heavy, especially compared to the body, which has very little, so it's kind of off-putting, but only when you really dissect it. It's got plenty of features like a handle and surprisingly even a small interior. It's not much, but it's still a nice touch. Attached to this ship are 4 small TIE fighters, which look plenty good and are one of the more fun parts of this set. The ability to attach and detach them was absolutely necessary for this ship. And LEGO stuck the landing. The good doesn't stop there though, the minifigure lineup is also sensational. You get 2 TIE pilots, an Imperial officer, Agent Callus, a see-through astromech, and then even a very colorful Sabine Wren. This was a very good lineup for this build. I felt like it complements it extremely well. All in all, it's an outstanding set for its uniqueness and quality. 7 is the AT-DP. This AT variant is new and exciting for good reason. Its look just has something different to it that I love. It's similar enough to an AT-ST to tell they're related, but far enough apart to have some interesting differences and definitely be able to tell it's a separate vehicle. I always love to grow my empire, so this is a terrific opportunity to do so. The build, like I mentioned, is great, but the figures just complement it perfectly. There are 2 pilots included, and they have such a neat look that's totally different and new, but still familiar. Agent Callus is the only named figure included, but he can carry that weight because he looks good and is a very popular character. Then finally, you have one more Stormtrooper here to round out the lineup. This set is a remarkable army builder and an amazing rebel set. Number 6 is Captain Rex's AT-TE. This set is certainly one of a kind. The undershell is a standard AT-AT, which is great on its own, but all the extra equipment on the outside makes this set totally something new and special. I love that LEGO gave us this fun spin on a classic set that has so many similar remakes. The cranes on the side are fun, and I love the outside rails and landing pads that you can set all your figures on. Speaking of which, you get a Stormtrooper, the 5th brother, Gregor, Wolf, and Rex. Even though our clones are old, it doesn't mean they're worth any less. They all are great here. And I love getting the old variation of them. Plus, the 5th brother is also a big pickup factor for this set. All of these figures besides the Stormtrooper are exclusive, making this set a hot commodity for the figures. It's a tremendous set that has so much good in it and is just one of the many unforgettable sets on this list. Hitting the number 5 spot, we have the TIE Advanced Prototype. This TIE is an absolute beauty. This is what an ideal playset looks like. It has plenty of details that make it an astounding model, but it's not too over the top and crazy expensive. The main body of the build sells it and it looks perfect. I can't even say much more about it because it's just plain good. The minifigures are also a beautiful complement. You get a TIE pilot and a beautiful tan suited officer. The standout figure though is easily the Grand Inquisitor. His printing and molded torso are amazing, but the red visor in his helmet makes it a totally mind-blowing figure. This set just has quality everywhere you look and it feels premium. This is a wonderful set. 4th, we have the Phantom 2. Just like the last set, this has a great ship build, but in this case, the figures are even better. Starting with the build, it may not be pretty, but it's accurate and that's what matters. What it lacks in shape though, its colors make up for. It has some amazing colors that overlap, creating a very mesmerizing color scheme that grabs your attention. The main attraction here though is by far the figures. First off, Grand Admiral Thrawn is present with his first and only appearance for quite a while. This was such a huge deal, and the set's aftermarket cost has skyrocketed since its retirement. While Thrawn is the main reason for that, the blind Kanan minifigure is an additional reason for that price hike. Kanan was already cool, but after he went blind, he wore this visor that only added to his appeal. Not to mention, he is still an exclusive figure to the set to this day. Finally, I should also mention Chopper is included, which again, good figure, but it's definitely nothing compared to the other two. For all these reasons, a relatively normal set is able to be one of the best and the most memorable from the Rebel series. Hitting the 3rd spot, we have the Ghost. It's a great set and all, but this being the sole version of the ship is definitely what gave it so much appeal. Of course, now we have the new version and can see this set's shortcomings a lot easier. There aren't many, as it is still a solid set, but small things like inaccurate front angles on the ship, and even these escape pods that aren't accurate and don't look good. The figure lineup isn't anything impressive either. Hera, Kanan, and Zeb are cool, but besides them, you only get a Stormtrooper, and for a set this size, only 4 figures is crazy. They definitely should have included the entire Ghost crew here. All these little things don't ruin the set, but it certainly isn't the gem some people paint it to be. Second, our runner-up is the Rebel Command Frigate. This set has become infamous for its Ahsoka minifigure that goes for hundreds of dollars on Bricklink. But it really should get more attention for just being an all-around amazing set. First off, this ship is just plain cool. I love the design of the ship, and the creators over at LEGO did a phenomenal job of bringing it into LEGO. There are some fun stud shooters to play with, but the main play feature revolves around the back engine. The flaps can move out into the attack position and vice versa. I will admit the interior is pretty weak, but it's not a deal breaker. Like I mentioned earlier though, the minifigs play a big role. You get Chopper, Ezra, Agent Kallus, Commander Sato, and then finally Ahsoka like I mentioned earlier. All of these are great choices and great figures to get, but Ahsoka and Commander Sato both stick out for their quality and exclusivity. This set proves to be one of the more interesting Rebel sets with a new ship and some exclusive figures. Finally, reigning in at the top spot, we have the TIE Advanced vs. A-Wing Starfighter. These versus sets are always amazing, and this one is no exception. The builds are both absolutely gorgeous. The A-Wing is one of the most prime models of it ever. This version is so smooth and sleek, and the colors are just a good match with an uncommon pairing of green, gray, and a little yellow. Vader's TIE matches and exceeds the A-Wing with its details and its iconic look. The angles and curves on the main body are some of the best I've ever seen, and it's a perfect playset ship. Our figures keep the good times rolling with 4 immaculately detailed minifigures. The A-Wing pilot is the least interesting figure, but it's still a good-looking rebel. Sabine Wren grabs your attention with her colors and details on her hair and armor. The 2 Imperial figures are Darth Vader and Tarkin. Both of these look beautiful. And having Tarkin in the brown suit variation is super neat. This is a stellar set for figures and builds. It's really the entire package. If you tried to force my hand to get me to say something negative, I guess I could say a 5th figure probably should have been included. But with the quality you're getting here, it still feels worth the $90. Such a great set and easily the top choice. Now that we reached the end, did you agree with my list? Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully I'll be able to remake this list soon with a bunch of new sets. LEGO should seriously consider taking a look at Star Wars Rebels again. There's so much potential and love for the series. I think it could do almost as well as the Clone Wars. And that's all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.